If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and enjoy the show. What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and today we're going to be going over Naoya Inoue, specifically his strength of schedule, his path and his road, in which led him to being one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. What we're going to do is develop statistics based on his last 10 fights. We're going to add up all of his opponents' win-loss records and then come up with a percentage. Before we talk about the statistics that nobody mentions when talking about the Japanese monster, we're going to bring out some more well-known stats about Inoue. We do know he's 26-0 with 23 knockouts. That is good enough for an 88% knockout to win ratio, and it's this power mixed with speed that makes Naoya very, very special. He is the IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO Super Bantamweight World Champion. He's been in the pound-for-pound list for a while, and he's right below Bud Crawford at number 2. The Japanese monster stands at 5'5" with a 67.5 reach. He's not just winning, he's winning significantly. When we transition into his last 10 fights, we're going to finish with the Topolez fight and start with the Payano fight. If any of you are new to the channel, I want to talk about how we're developing this statistic. We are adding up the win-loss records from his opponents on the night that they fought. For instance, when Fulton fought Inoue, Fulton was 21-0. After he got knocked out in the 8th, he was 21-1. So we're adding up the 21-0 record. If we go all the way back to 10 fights ago when he fought Payano, Payano was 20-1. He got knocked out in the first. Rodriguez, 19-0, knocked out in the second. Nonito Donaire the first time, 40-5, UD in the 12th. Jason Maloney, 21-2, knockout in the 7th. Das Marinas, 30-2, knockout in the 3rd. DePayne, 12-2, knockout in the 8th. Donaire, second time, 42-6, knockout in the 2nd. Butler, 34-2, knockout in the 11th. Fulton, 21-0, knockout in the 8th. Topolez, 37-3, knockout in the 10th. He is 10-0 over his last 10 with a very impressive 9 knockouts. Inoue has beaten 2 undefeated fighters in the last 10. If we add up all of the win-loss records, guys, that equates to 276 wins with only 23 losses, which gives Inoue a 92% win-loss ratio. The reason why this is significant is, as fans, we could see who he fights, we could talk about our favorite fighters, but without numbers to correlate their roadmap, their fighters in the world, every fight of yours is going to be the toughest fight of your career. When I look back at the last 10, the Donaire both fights are interesting because Nonito was the first guy in the 10 fights to take him the distance, but that was 7 fights ago. But during their rematch, Inoue got him out of there in the 2nd. Also, that Fulton fight was a very exciting fight. Fulton came in there with a lot of hype. The American traveled to Japan. He was undefeated. He got finished, got him out of there in the 8th. But the fight I want to dissect a bit more, just personally, it was my favorite fight, was the Jason Maloney fight. I just feel that we got to see the full spectrum of Inoue's skills. We got to see his speed. We got to see his power and his brutality. You guys will remember this knockout in the 7th was a knockout of the year candidate, and I want to break this down a little bit deeper. Putting on a surgical display, unified bantamweight world title holder Naoya Inoue defeated Jason Maloney by 7th round knockout at the MGM Grand Conference Center in Vegas. So when people say Inoue doesn't fight in America, he's fought in America multiple times. It's a weird narrative going on right now, guys, that he'll only fight in Japan. Not this fight. You had an Aussie and a Japanese fighter meeting in Vegas. Showing the form and class that have him ranked as ESPN's number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world on the night of this fight, Inoue scored 2 knockdowns on his way to an impressive performance. After a relatively even first 2 rounds, Inoue began to get his offense started, throwing a variety of power punches from both hands. And that's another thing that makes him special. He has knockout power on both sides, so you can't sleep defensively when you're fighting this guy. Early on, it was the speed and quickness of the monster that was extremely impressive. It wasn't just his hand speed, but his ability to move in and out with his feet that allowed him to control the distance in tempo. That's another variable about Inoue, is normally when you have guys who have knockout power in both hands, their feet tend to be a little bit flat so they could twist and dig from the heels to generate power. Inoue is able to do that and still have exceptional footwork, being able to maneuver in and out of the pocket to avoid damage. He was actually boxing his way to victory in the beginning stages of the contest. Eventually, his lethal arsenal began to leave its mark on Maloney, who boxed well at times, but simply couldn't match Inoue's power. In the 6th round, a quick counter left hook sent Maloney down, and we should have saw the end coming after Maloney got dropped, because Maloney is tough, he is world class, and he was staying in the pocket. This is an exciting fight to watch. In the 7th round, a short right hand sent Maloney down for the 2nd time. While he tried to get up, he did not have his senses, and referee Kenny Bayless stopped the fight at 2:59 of that round. That final punch, the finishing one, Inoue claims, "I'm very happy and satisfied with that shot." He has now won titles at junior flyweight and junior bantamweight and currently holds the WBA IBF belts at 118 pounds on the night of that fight. Maloney has great defense and it was very difficult to get through. The 2 punches I talked about are something really that I practiced a lot in camp in Japan, and I was able to perform well and use it, and I'm happy with that. And guys, that's something about Inoue. When you see a technician of the sport at the highest level, it's hours and hours and years of drilling and practice. And when you watch this guy punch, technique is definitely on the forefront. If you guys want me to feature one of your favorite fighters, one of your favorite fights, or an upcoming matchup, I'll break it down statistically. Just let me know in the comment section below.